I used to look like before I lost my mind. I think this was, when I started to lose my mind, or I think this is probably right after, but this is me now basically. But yeah, basically like this was me fresh out of high school, and yeah, basically I think I was like 18 or 19 in this photo. Most likely 18. Yeah, I was probably 18 in this photo. I'm not sure. I was actually 17 when I graduated, and that's my college shirt. So yeah, I was probably 18. Um, Probably 19. I don't know, somewhere around that age mark. And I didn't even graduate college. I was only there for like a year and a half. But so this is what happens when you're exposed to sex at a young age. So, yes, both my parents were married. And I even remember parts, like the time parts of when they were married, and they divorced when I was very young, and that's when I didn't see my dad as much. Like he was in and out my life a lot. And one time he wasn't in my life at all. He's in my life now, but okay, this is what happened. My dad wasn't in my life after the divorce, and to make a long story short, he was just in and out my life because it's going to be very hard to explain. It's going to take me all day to explain, but my dad was in and out my life. And, my mom was there. My grandma, I don't like her at all. Like the least a grandmother could do is let me sleep on the bed and not somewhere that's not a bed. You know what I'm saying? Like, it starts with an F, ends with an R, and it smells like piss. Yeah. Thank you, bitch. Anyways, I don't speak to her. But, okay, so I feel like when I was like 6, I feel like that's when, like, I wouldn't say like, it's hard to explain. When I was 6, I mean, my childhood, okay, so I'm gonna say it like this. I was abused, but like I still like had a good childhood. It's really hard to explain. Okay, so as a kid, I got to do whatever I wanted. I got to go wherever I wanted. Well, not everywhere, but like I went to a lot of field trips. I went to summer camp, like I got to go swimming a lot, got to go to the park. I just did a lot of fun things. I did a lot of fun activities. Um, I was a big artist back in the day. I was just doing all kinds of fun stuff, like kid stuff. I was living my life. I was happy, but I was also abused. I think that's because I didn't have a father. And also, I had an absent mother as well. Like, my mom was there, but she wasn't there at the same time. Like, my mom, she was there, but like, she liked to stay by herself. She likes to keep to herself. She doesn't really talk to me like that. But, she was still there. She was still in the picture. She just just imagine a wall in front of you. That's kind of what my mom was to me. I just always saw her as this upset person, but I just never knew why. And I feel so I was under 10 when I discovered, like the S word, the SEX word, corn. And I was like watching that because I found it, and I'm not going to say who it was, like, but it was somebody in the family. Like, they were just like, and it's someone, I just don't want to say who it is, like, you know, also the person who was somewhat absent in my life. Yeah, they had porn laying around, and guys in my home, they didn't walk around naked, but they always walked around in boxers, and like there was a bunch of corn videos everywhere, and like it was on the laptop, the TV. Back in the day, we didn't have like those computers. It was still on the computers, but like there was also CD cases of it, VHSs, like CDs, VHSs, just stuff like that, magazines, like stuff like that, corn magazines. So basically, I was, exposed to that stuff at a young age, and I was watching those, bad things. Like, and honestly, like, my parents thought it was funny. Both my parents thought it was funny. Like, I was watching, like, yes, my grandma made me watch baby shows that I hated so much, and she would also make me watch the news. I was miserable. But like when people weren't looking, I would watch things like Adult Swim, Chris Rock, comedy skits. I would I would watch bad stuff. I would watch bad stuff. I would watch BET late at night, like I would watch a lot of bad stuff on the TV. But, like, I mean, I guess later on and honestly, I didn't even want to keep a TV. I just wanted to have like a phone. Or I wanted to have a phone. I didn't really want to have a TV because, like, with the phone, you can, like, carry it around and everything. But I discovered, I don't even like talking about this, but I thought that I took my own V card, I don't like saying the word, you know, oneself, like touching oneself basically, and, like being with older people and just like was being pressured. And some lady told me that it's the R word. I don't even like talking about this kind of stuff, but, like, I think both my parents, they didn't say this all the time, but they said this a few times. They told me, wait till marriage. If a guy loves you, he will wait till marriage. But they didn't tell me that all the time, and they didn't tell me why. They only told me that one time, and I wish I could have remembered that. But the reason why I didn't stuck by that was because I already felt like a dirty person. I didn't exactly love myself, and I was already exposed to like things like corn at a young age. I was like, doing bad stuff to myself at a young age. I would say I was experimenting with myself, and like a lot of just older guys would just like take advantage of me. And like, females in my family would also like touch me. I wouldn't say that it's the R word, but like I was just confused. Like my cousin was like touching me, and like, you know, I just didn't know what was going on. I was confused, and she was doing that to other people, and I just didn't know what was going on. Like, I didn't even know I had a girly part. I just did not know what was going on. And it's really sad. I ended up slapping her, and like, it's just sad, bro. It's sad having somebody touch you and you don't know what's going on. That's something I don't tell people. I don't journal about it. I don't I never told any therapist. I didn't tell a soul. Like, this is my first time talking about this in many, many years. This was before I had a menstrual thing. This was just. And sometimes it is hard for me to remember stuff like this, because the reason why, it's hard for me to forget recent things is because I'm purposely trying to forget about the past. I'm trying to forget about that shit. But sometimes it pops up, and fast forward years later, the reason why I didn't wait till marriage to do it was because, one, I was young. I didn't really want marriage. I thought that a guy could love me. I thought a guy could love me without marriage. Two, no, wait, three, I just thought I wasn't good enough for marriage. Like I said before, I thought he could love me without it. I was already not a virgin. I was already experienced on just a lot. And, I saw other people who weren't married and they were still happy with their partner. And I was just giving myself a whole bunch of excuses. And I wasted 6 years. I was lied to, used, and ghosted, and sometimes cheated on. But I was lied to, used, and left for many, many years. I was lied and used and left for 6 years. It's written in all my journals. It's written, and I even have videos from when I was 17, 18, 19, 20 of me just crying because I was being lied to, used, and left, and I was just confused. But now I'm aware that it's happened. I just didn't know how to prevent it, or you can't prevent it. People are always going to lie, but I just wish an adult or just anyone told me. I wish someone out there would have told me that you're good enough. You are worth it. Know your worth. Love yourself. Nobody has ever taught me that. People just insult me on a daily basis and took advantage of me sexually, and I was assaulted, and like it's just stuff I don't really like talking about no more. I never see a point in talking about it, but I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. I don't wish that people experience things without their consent and just being hurt like this. So if I could go back in time, I would have waited till marriage, and that was my whole intention. But like I said before, I didn't have that adult figure. I just had people blaming me for being the victim. I never had someone tell me, you are beautiful, you are strong, you are worth it, you are a queen. I never had people tell me that. I just wish more people would have told me, you're beautiful, instead of just degrading me and saying bad things. I just wish I had that adult figure that would have told me that if a guy truly loves you, he will marry you, instead of saying things like, oh, he could love you without marriage. And my dad, he always told me, well, like I was